Hello, what's up, and welcome to today's video. Today we are doing the mid-year freak out tag. Apparently that's what it's called. I've never done this tag before, and yes, I'm aware that is past midway through the year, but oh well, we'll just call it better late than never. So the first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far in 2025? Okay, so I've read 43 books so far this year and my goal is 70. I'm a little bit behind than what I would rather, but that being said, I don't think I can choose just one favourite book that I've read. So I have got a few that just immediately come to mind that have been just my favourite so far this year. Okay, so I've picked 4 books that I think just make it in the top favourites. And then my 4th book, I haven't got the physical copy. Yeah, so I'll talk about that on my Kindle. But anyway, so my first one is Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. I cannot believe how much I love this. I'm really glad because I was hoping that I would like this, but man, I was obsessed. I still am. The cover is just absolutely everything. It's like one of my favourite covers. And I did like a reading vlog reading this one. It's just everything. It's just like, I just did not want it to end. It takes place in Pixie Hollow, and if you've watched Secret of the Wings, I think it's called. This book kind of gives you the background story of Clarion and Mallory, and it gives them their little love story. So it was very bittersweet. It was emotional. I cried. It just felt very nostalgic, even though I hadn't watched Secret of the Wings before. I did obviously watch it after. But yeah, this was just beautifully written and I just loved everything about it. So that is my first book. And then I read The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I'm sure everyone has heard of this book, but I was kind of intimidated reading this one. This is a very different 5-star because honestly, through half the book, I was a little bit like, it's not like an easy read. It's like straight to the point and sometimes a little bit dense. Is that the word? I don't know. But the reason it is a 5-star is because of the ending. I watched the film of this a couple of years ago and I've always wanted to watch and I always wanted to read the book, and I actually am glad that I watched the film first because I don't think I would have quite understood everything or be able to picture it, because some bits it was kind of confusing and I was like, I don't really know what's going on, but because I watched the film I could make sense of what scene and what was happening. But oh my gosh, this is probably the most heartbreaking book I've ever read. I don't think I would have it in me to read it again because it is incredibly heartbreaking and beautiful, and I feel teary just talking about it. But yeah, I definitely recommend this to anyone. Of course, I absolutely sobbed my heart out reading this. I think everyone should just read this. It's so different to any book that I've read. It is narrated by Death. Death is like a character, and some bits are very funny. Like even when it's incredibly sad, the way he's narrating it and talking, it's kind of funny. So yeah, I really loved this. The ending in itself was just 5 stars. The characters, you just kind of grow up with them and you feel incredibly connected to them, so which makes it even more sadder really. But anyway, yeah, definitely recommend that one. My second book. And then the one that I not long actually just finished is Rebecca by, my voice just cracked. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Oh, I keep saying that, du Maurier. So this is a classic and I am so glad that I picked up this hardcover because it's such a beautiful copy and it's got illustrations. I don't want to show the ones that will give any spoilers, but they're just so beautiful. I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but this was definitely the easiest classic that I've read and definitely my favourite. It's just so descriptively written and detailed, and I mean, I'm not going to say too much about this because I'm doing a video where I talk about this book a lot more, but this is a gothic suspense and kind of very mysterious, especially like the second half, I would say. The plot twists were definitely just had me gasping. Did not see that coming. Well, I kind of did. It still just like had me shocked. That is my third favourite of the year. And then the fourth one is The Golden Goal by Anna Conwell. I haven't got this copy, so I'll just put a picture on the screen. But this was actually the first book that I read out of these. So I had this one as an audiobook, and I literally just read 90% of it just in the car on a long journey we had, and oh my goodness, I was just obsessed. I could not stop smiling. I felt like I was just feeling everything that the characters were feeling, and that definitely got me onto Anna Conwell's all other books. I then binged like the rest of that series, and now Anna's like one of my favourite authors. So yeah, she just writes the best and sweetest romances. I could not recommend that enough. That is part of the More Than a Game series, and there is 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 5 books. Her 5th book is actually out today. What was the date today? Her 5th book actually came out yesterday, which was the 7th. I've been waiting for that one for a few months now, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read it. But yeah, those are the 4 books that immediately come to mind when I think of like my top books this month. There's definitely a few more, but I think those are just like my top. So yeah. Okay, what has been your favourite sequel of the first half of the year? Yeah, that's kind of scary. Okay, what has been your favourite sequel of the first half of the year? And that is kind of a hard one because I've started a lot of series this year, but I think I'm going to go for The Finding by 𝔬𝔬𝔫𝔱. That series definitely has to be, I think, like my most favourite series of the year. So there is 3 books in that series. The first one is The Calling. So The Finding is the 2nd book, and then there is The Choosing, which is the 3rd book, and then she's coming out with a 4th book, I think at the end of this year. So I am beyond excited for that book. But so this is like a dystopian fantasy YA. So this is for fans of like what is the word? 𝔪𝓬𝔬𝔯𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬 of those series that just kept getting better. Every book that I read, I literally just, once I read the first book, I just binged the rest of the books in the next couple of days, because and every book does have a cliffhanger. So yeah, reading that third book without the fourth book was, oh my gosh, yeah, I cannot tell you how excited I am for the fourth book. I definitely am going to do a reread of the series before the fourth book comes out, just so I can refresh my memory. And of course there is a romance, and kind of every book you have more POVs. But yeah, The Finding, I think, was just my favourite. It just had me like engaged and interested like the whole time. So yeah, another series that I definitely recommend. Is there a new release that you haven't read yet but you're really excited to? That one, I'm gonna go for Dating and Dragons by what is her name? By Christy Boyce. So that is the second book of Dungeons and Drama, which is like a really cute YA romance. So I think they are standalones. It doesn't really matter if you read the second without the first. But I also do definitely recommend the first book. So Dating and Dragons, I think, came out at the start of this year, and I've literally been so excited to get to it. I just haven't yet. I do want to buy the paperback so it can be matching with my first book. So that is definitely a book that I need to finish before this year. Of course, a lot of it is to do with like D&D. The first book also had a mix of, so our FMC was a musical girly. She loved drama and singing, etc. So I don't know I can't remember what the next book, what that kind of mixes is in with, but it does continue the D&D theme, which I really enjoyed in the first book. So can't wait to get back into that world again in the next book. What is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? So again, I have quite a few, and I narrowed it down to 3. So one that I mentioned earlier, the 5th book in the More Than a Game series by Anna Conwell. That is The Confidentiality Clause, which actually, like I said, came out yesterday. So I am going to be reading that as soon as possible. So excited for that. I mean, all of the books have been above 4 stars. So and this one just sounds especially good. So I've no doubt the author is just going to make this the perfect end to the series. Okay, the second one is The Rising Again, that is the 4th book in the Calling series. I've already talked about that, but yes, I am extremely excited for that book. And another book by Anna Conwell it's a brand new series that I think is going to come out in November, and that is Checkers Not Chess. That's going to be like a college romance series. She writes all clean, as she says, all the sizzle without the spice. And this series has characters from her other books, so I want to get through the books that I haven't read from her backlist, and so that I can enjoy this new series even more. What is your biggest disappointment so far? Do excuse. You may or may not be surprised. I'm going to go for the Selection series by Kiera Cass. This series started out so well. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave this 4 stars. It had such good, what is the word? Not prospects. You know, future. You had such good. This is gonna really annoy me. Prospects. Why do I keep thinking of prospects? Yeah, I can't think of the word. Let's just go with prospects. Does that mean what I think it means? You know what I mean. Anyway, I was really looking forward to finish this series, and I finally did. I think this is the next book. Yeah, I think this was the next book, The Elite. Not as good. I think this was around 3 stars. It definitely just slowed my interest in the series, and I wasn't really motivated to finish it, even though I did want to finish it. I just was like, I wasn't like really excited to finish it anymore. It was just like our main character, America, just kept getting more and more annoying. If you know, you know. I don't want to go into any spoilers, but a couple months ago I did indeed finish that little trilogy. So there are 5 books. I'll talk about it in a minute. But anyway, the 3rd book, The One, I painfully got through this one. It's 2 audiobook, and it was around, again, 3 stars. I honestly just dragged myself through it. I mean, there was some points that I did like and was enjoying. That's why I gave it 3 stars, because there was some bits where it had me, a few things that happened that made me just like gasp out loud, and some bits that I did enjoy. Honestly, I can't even remember what happens in this book apart from like one of the plot twists. But yeah, I don't even remember how it ends. But yeah, I have absolutely no desire to finish the series. I have DNF'd the series. So there are 2 other books that kind of continue after this, which follows her daughter. And I'm not gonna finish that. I really wanted to like this. I think this is like 10 years old now, this series. I just couldn't cope with the main character, and it just felt very repetitive to me. So yes, one of my most disappointing reads of the year. And then probably my first 2-star read of the year, that was Shady Hollow, which was for my book club. Boy, oh boy, did I struggle through that. I got to about 50% and I just had to skim the rest because I was just like, oh my gosh, I just was forcing myself to read it. I had absolutely no desire. I mean, there was like 1% of me that was interested and was kind of curious. It is like a mystery. It's kind of like Zootropolis, where you know, this animal kingdom and this murder takes place in this little animal village where no crime has ever been committed before. And yeah, you're just following as the mystery very, very slowly unfolds. Again, it just felt very repetitive, and every end of the chapter was the same. I gave that 2 stars. At first, I thought that I was going to love this. But yeah, the longer it just went on, I was like, I don't think I can finish this. But I did force myself to get through that. So yeah, I don't have much else to say on that particular book. It wasn't really the book's fault. I think it was just me. It just definitely wasn't for me. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Okay, what is your biggest surprise so far? So again, already talked about this book, but I'm going to say Rebecca. So this is a classic, and like I've said many times, I'm just not a classics person, unfortunately. I really, really want to be. They've mostly been around like the 3-star mark, so I did not really know what to expect when I got this, but I'm so glad I did, because this was a 5 stars. But yeah, obviously I've talked about this already, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I was just so surprised of how much I'm obsessed with this book. I watched the film immediately after. Of course, the film didn't do it justice, but I definitely am now going to go and read all the rest of her books, because she just wrote this so well. I just enjoyed everything about this, and I've now got a little bit more hope that maybe I will be a classics girl thanks to this book. A book that made you cry. Again, I've already talked about this one, but this is, I mean, I cry a lot of books, okay? I'm literally that quote where it says emotionally attached to fictional characters. Yeah, there's actually a lot of books that I can say I've cried through, but this is the one where I cried the most, and I mean absolutely sobbed my heart out. So yeah, this one just has my heart. I love this one so much. Even the film of this is incredibly heartbreaking as well. Both just had me sobbing. This one definitely had me depressed for a few days after this. So do with that what you will. A book that made you happy. I'm going to go for Rapunzel's Gambit by Mary Meekham. I discovered this author, I think, at the start of the year, and I've been wanting to read one of her books basically all year. So Rapunzel's Gambit was an ARC, or an advanced reader's copy, and I absolutely loved it. It was a 5 stars. I just literally had the best time reading it. I just did not want to put it down. I was smiling the whole way through. Just definitely took a turn that I did not expect. It is a Tangled retelling, but literally so much more than that. A lot of her books, she writes like instead of the damsel in distress, she will write the damsel distressing others, which honestly surprised me how much I loved that. And the whole book, there is a dragon in it, a very, very snarky dragon. It's just making me happy just talking about it. I could not recommend that one enough. Yeah, just so witty and funny, and I had the best time. What books do you want to read by the end of the year? Okie dokie, I've got honestly quite a few. So I think I mentioned this in my last video that I've got Kindle Unlimited for the next couple months. So I definitely want to make use of that, and I've got a few books ready on my Kindle to read. I'm just going to fly through these and tell you the top ones that I definitely want to get to. So first one is Let's Pretend I'm Okay by 𝔪𝔬𝔫𝔱. This one apparently is very emotional, and I think it's YA. Emma the Matchmaker by Rachel John. This is one of the books in the Jane Austen retelling series. I've really loved the other 2 books that I've read in that series. Just really, really cute rom-coms and such a fast, easy read. Oh, I want to read Assassin of Fire and Sacrifice, again by Mary Meekham. Again, this is another fantasy. Yeah, it just sounds really good. I've been wanting to read it all year. The Pianist's Wife, which I found a few days ago actually. This is by Soraya M. Lane. So I think this is like a World War II story. I can't remember what it's about, but it sounds really, really good and sounds like my kind of book. I've also got my 25 books of 2025 that I need to get through in my reading journal. I've honestly got still a lot to read. So I need to finish Master and Apprentice, which is a Star Wars book, which I'm about 30% through at the minute. I've stopped reading it. I've just put it down for a minute just while I get through some other books, but I'm definitely going to pick that up again because I was really enjoying that. Oh, and I also want to get to Anne of Green Gables. Yeah, that just sounds like a very easy classic as well, so I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy that. A Song of Thieves, another fantasy. It just sounds like the perfect fantasy. I've been wanting to read it, honestly, for like 2 years or something. So that definitely sounds like the perfect winter read. And my last book I'm going to say is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Again, I've been wanting to read that for a couple years, and I've got the paperback, and I'm really, really hoping this year is going to be the year to read that. I'm just kind of waiting until my mood matches that book, and so I can really take my time and absorb it. Is that all the questions? And also I want to finish the Divergent series, so I want to read Allegiant. Honestly, I can't even remember what happened in the last book, but I have really been enjoying the series. It's probably like a 4-star series. I think the last book probably wasn't my favourite. I think there's like 3 books or 4 books, I can't remember. But yeah, I'm going to finish that series, and then I want to watch the films after as well. Oh, and finally, I Who Have Never Known Men. I'm 100% getting to that, and hopefully I'm going to get to that this month. I've been on hold for it for a few months now, and that's going to be ready to be delivered in the next couple of weeks. So I'm so excited for that. That just sounds so good. Yeah, those are the top ones that come to mind that I definitely want to finish before this year is up. But yeah, that is all the questions. I really enjoyed doing this. Stay tuned to see if I read any of the books that I've talked about today. Please feel free to comment what books you're reading and how you're doing with your reading goal this year. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well and have a good day, and I will see you in my next video soon. Take care. Bye.